I'm going to be repairing this seat. We bought it on Facebook Marketplace, and it sits over in the vineyard. But we took it there and then decided it's not good enough because of the rotten bit. We thought it was going to be okay, but it's not. So I'm going to replace it. We bought a bit of wood, so this video is about replacing that. When you've got a big property, you need seats everywhere. It's nice to be able to sit down and enjoy it. You can't just sit on the ground. So seats are good. So the first step is to cut these bolts off, because I won't be able to undo them. I'll cut them off with the angle grinder. The rotten seat is off. That was pretty simple. There's my angle grinder. This bit of wood we bought is a bit longer than the other one, but a bit narrower, but it'll do. Surprisingly cheap, rough sawn treated timber, about $33, which surprised both of us. So now I'm going to cut it off to length and probably round off the edge with a planer and take it from there. I hope the bolts I bought fit. Okay, I'm just rounding off this front edge because the back of your legs will go against that, so you don't want a sharp edge. It's a bit more difficult than it looks to get around. Probably need a router, but this will do. My old Ryobi planer. Had that a long time, 15 years. So power tools, grinder, saw, planer, and my belt sander. It's done a very good job. This is the underside of the belt sander. So we've done a very good job of smoothing that out and rounding off that edge. Nice. This belt sander was probably bought in 1985 when I was doing some sanding of roof rafters, pitched roof in our first house. My dad helped me with that. So if my math serves me correctly, that makes it 38 years old. Still goes very well. How many power tools would do that, say that today? 38 years. Nice. Now just have to drill from underneath for the bolts, which are a bit short. But 75s, probably should have got 90s. Should have measured. I've drilled a small hole from underneath through the hole in the galvanized metal pipe, and it made its way through. Now I can put the 8.5mm through for the 8mm bolt. Now because I bought short bolts, I'm going to recess them in using this 18mm spade bit, which will recess the head of the bolt in a little bit, which will enable it to go right through. Bit annoyed there actually, but it is what it is. Well, that's annoying. This bolt fits in here, but the hole in the metal, it doesn't. It is freakingly annoying. So I'm going to have to drill them out. I have to probably sacrifice one of my bits to do that. Annoying. Planning, all these sort of things. So we're in the hardware merchants, and I thought, well, let's get a bit of wood for that seat. So we did, and then I said, well, we need some bolts, 5 bolts. I'd remembered that. But I bought 2 fatter bolts to go through the existing holes, so I had to sacrifice one of my bits to drill out the metal. Then when I could do that, then I put this finer bit from underneath to find the hole, then an 8.5 to widen it out, and because I didn't buy long enough ones, then I had to use the spade bit to take it down that far and hammer it in. Now these will be a collection point for water, so I'll probably drop some paint or something in there to try and seal it, or glue or epoxy, something like that. If I just bought the right ones, wouldn't have to do any of that. So I've got the bolts in. If I'd got the right bolts, it would have been so easy. Now I'm going to find something to put in there. Stop water collecting in those holes. I've got this Araldite epoxy. It's only about 16 odd years past its expiry date. So let's use that. Okay, I'm mixing that one by one by weight. Stir it up and pour it in those holes. Okay, so it's overnight and the little things have cured quite nicely. They look quite cool actually. And no water's going to get in there. So now I can stain this. Might put a bit of paint up on here. I think I've got something that sort of colour. The back support is sort of greeny grey. I haven't got anything like that. But I have got a sort of purple colour and a beige, brown. Let's mix them and see what we get. I buy these mist tints from the hardware. Like both of them only $5. If it's cheap, it's good. Yeah, that looks quite nice. Painted the backrest front and back, because you'll see it from the back as well. I'm quite pleased with that. Now I can stain the seat. I'm using this furniture oil. Brush it on. The stain going on looks nice. In fact, it really matches the little bits of epoxy. So I'm very happy with that. So why, may you ask, paint the backrest and stain here? One, it's about water. This is an outside bit of furniture. And if you paint a vertical surface, no, that's horizontal. If you paint a horizontal surface with a proper paint, then water will get through that, always gets through. And then when the sun hits it, it cooks inside and it enhances rotting of the timber. That's why the seat you saw at the beginning was rotting out, but the backrest was okay. And if you do ever paint something, you shouldn't paint the underside, so the water can always get out. If you leave it inside, the bugs love it and it will rot out. It's all done. Quite arty. I like it. As soon as it's dry, I'll move it into the vineyard. And there's the rejuvenated seat, back in its spot with a fine view of the vineyard. And we can watch the grapes mature from here. Haha. Happy.